As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICANN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICANN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening to our partner colleagues from Lagos, Nigeria, the student members and friends of the Institute, and welcome to another episode of ICANN on Air, your great platform for learning, powered by our Noble Institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I'm your host for today, Tosin Akinwumi, FCA. And it's ICANN on Air again today. Please inform your colleagues and friends that the show has commenced and that they can be part of this program on ICANN Facebook page and ICANN YouTube channel. So what are we discussing today? Today, Thursday, 25th April, 2024. We shall be talking about the evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. And I have here with me a distinguished professional, a vast and talented speaker, and the managing partner of Peter Adebayo & Co., Chartered Accountant, in person of Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCA. Sit back and relax as we bring to you a revived episode for this day, and where we shall be talking about the topic once again, evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. I'll be right back shortly with my guest in the studio. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Canada District, presents the 9th International Accountants Conference, themed Strategic Upscaling of Accounting Profession within the Dynamics of Technology. Date, 16th to 20th July 2024. Time is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Venue, Best Western Premier Calgary Plaza Hotel and Conference Center, 1316 33th Street NE, Calgary, Alberta, T2A 6B6. Seasoned speakers like Sheyi Wolabi, a partner at MNP Calgary, will be speaking on review of the accounting profession and technology synergy. Derek Greer, the Chief Information and Security Officer, Protexa, will be speaking on disruptive technology and AI upscaling for accountants. Greg Howe, the CEO, Black All Systems Calgary, will be speaking on accountants in the era of diversified profession, while Professor Godwin Emmanuel Oyedokun will be speaking on decision-making optimization through data mining. The Canadian High Commissioner as well as the ICANN President will also be in attendance. This conference promises to be value for your time and money. Hurry! Register today by sending an email to Mr. Blessing Familusi, chairman at icancanada.net, or St. Badamosi at ican.org.ng, or iadams at ican.org.ng, or simply visit our website www.icancanada.org. ICANN Canada Conference 2024. Be there.
Oh yes, welcome back to ICANN on Air, and today we are talking about evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. I have my guest in the house already, Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCA, the managing partner of Peter Adebayo & Co. Mr. Peter, it is a pleasure to have you on the show today, sir.
Thank you very much, Tosin. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly take the brief profile of our guest on the show. Peter Adebayo is a seasoned practicing chartered accountant, tax and management consultant, who holds a BSc degree in accounting from University of Lagos and an MBA degree with specialization in financial management from Lagos State University. He is a fellow of ICANN, a certified professional forensic accountant of the Institute of Certified Forensic Accountants, Canada, a member of CITN, a member of NIM, an alumnus of Lagos Business School, Pan-African University, and a registered professional member of Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. Peter Adebayo, FCA, has over 28 years of experience in corporate and professional practice, gathered across diverse sectors of Nigerian business environment. He is currently the managing partner of Peter Adebayo and Co. Chartered Accountant, and also the CEO of 2612 Consulting and Professional Services. And that is their brief profile of our guest on the show today. Like I introduced him, he is a vast and talented speaker. Once again, Mr. Peter, it is a pleasure to have you on the show today.
I appreciate you once again, Mr. Akumi. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, sir. So today we will be talking on the evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. According to John F. Kennedy, the 35th president of the United States of America, he said, and I quote, "Change is the law of life. Those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." Having you on the show today as a guest will certainly grant our global viewers the opportunity to learn and share from your depth of intellectual knowledge, skills, and experiences. Let's start this way, Mr. Peter. What's an evolving business landscape, and what are the perspectives to evolving business landscape?
Yeah, thank you once again, Tosin. Talking about the business landscape, we're referring to a very dynamic, volatile, changing environment under which businesses generally operate, which encompass various dimensions of market conditions. Of course, changes that are imminent across different platforms, diverse customer needs, unavoidable competitive forces, as well as inevitable technological advancements. When you look at business landscape, it is generally characterized by dynamism. It is characterized by volatility, environmental changes here and there, market forces, competitions, laws, regulations, technological advancements, among quite a number of other factors. Of course, this is what I call the crux of an evolving business landscape. So in the business landscape, adaptability, flexibility, they are very, very critical for organizations and professionals to thrive. So both professionals and businesses that are very rigid and resistant to change, they may find it very difficult. In fact, they may be struggling to navigate through these challenges. While those that embrace adaptability and flexibility will always be better positioned to seek opportunities that are inherent in the business landscape. That way they can explore new possibilities and discover something new.
Thank you very much for that response, particularly on the line that adaptability and flexibility are key to the survivability of professionals. I think I took that line, and that's a good one, sir. Our global viewers would appreciate if you can run us through what the significance of evolving business landscape to professionals on service delivery is. Let us know in particular terms, what are the significance of the evolving business landscape to professionals on service delivery?
Well, that's a very good question, Tosin. Evolving your business, is a very essential thing if you must remain competitive, if you must remain profitable in the marketplace, whether as a corporate body or as an individual professional. Of course, as a professional or business owner, it is of importance to continuously evolve your business to ensure ongoing growth and success. What does this mean? This means staying ahead of competition and adapting to changes, particularly as it affects your customer needs. Don't forget that you are in the business world to meet specific customer needs, to meet their preferences for value creation and for value addition. And one of the very important aspects of evolving your business, is the customer service. You will agree with me, yes, Tosin, that customers ordinarily want to be treated with respect, and they want to have their needs met in a timely manner that will help them to achieve their business objectives. So investing in customer service becomes a very essential thing for cultivating customer loyalty and securing their business. One other important part of evolving your business is customer feedback. If, for instance, at the end of this program, Tosin, I would expect that I will be feedback from all the stakeholders involved. So that's what happens exactly in business. So feedback mechanism is very, very paramount. So by seeking actively and listening to feedback from your customers, you can better understand their needs. You can tailor your service towards meeting their needs, and this will help you stay ahead of competition and ensure customer satisfaction at every point in time. Of course, in addition to that, it's also important to constantly review your product or your service offerings as a way to determine which of them will give you better value in the business space, and that will help you focus your resources, focus your energy on areas that are more beneficial to your business, where you enjoy what we call distinctive edge or comparative advantage. So it's very important to keep an eye on the latest industry trends, the developments, and by doing that, you will be able to capitalize on new opportunities and stay ahead of the competition.
Okay, staying ahead of competition. There's a follow-up question there. While you talked about the evolving business landscape and the fact that customer-specific needs to be met for value creation and value addition. So, what is positioning strategy when we are dealing with evolving business landscape, and what are some of the positioning strategies that we need to know?
Well, that's a question that is that will probably require some degree of elaborate responses. Let me take a few minutes to address this. If you look at the post-pandemic era, post-COVID, it has actually further accelerated the need for all businesses and professionals to adapt to economic uncertainties and volatile market conditions. Now, in today's fast-paced and constantly evolving business landscape, entities, organizations, professionals, they seem to face numerous challenges. These challenges that demand a high level of innovation, a high level of being more agile, agility. So the era of COVID has further accelerated this need for business and professionals to recalibrate their strategies and adapt to economic uncertainties and these volatile market conditions. And they can do this by appreciating the significance of embracing change, establishing a culture of innovation by leveraging on technology, but adopting what I call agile methodologies and effectively navigating disruptions. We're going to talk about disruptions as we move ahead to thrive in today's contemporary business era. So these are some of the strategies that professionals must embrace in this business age and era. I will expatiate more on this as we move ahead in this program.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, or for that response rather. Now, just on the response you gave now, I just want us to now be very particular. And my next question will be, how should professionals position themselves in service delivery so that they can thrive in today's rapidly evolving business landscape? I want us to be particular and be specific in this response, sir.
Okay. To maintain a service delivery culture which is in tandem with global standard and remain highly competitive in this evolving business landscape, those of us who are professionals, we must anticipate change. We must plan for change. We must be prepared to embrace change and must be prepared to manage change. Why am I saying this? I'm saying it because change is an inevitability in a dispensation of an evolving business landscape. So that would take me to change management as a concept. Of course, there are quite a number of things that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at change management. We're going to be looking at the need for navigating of technological disruption. We're going to be looking at issues around networking, which is of paramount importance. We're going to be looking at how to adapt, a number of other things we're going to be looking at, and at the end of the day, we'll be driving home our point.
Okay, Mr. Adebayo, that's a good one. For if you are just joining us, we are on another episode of ICANN on Air today, and we are discussing the topic evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. And our guest on the show today is Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCA, the managing partner of Peter Adebayo and Co. Chartered Accountants. Mr. Peter, you have mentioned or you have listed some things that we need to discuss if you're actually talking about evolving business landscape. If I heard you well, you talk about change management, you talk about technology disruption, and also one more. So let's quickly go straight into those points you mentioned. Change management is a concept that resonates with evolving business landscape. I want us to briefly take us through the role of change management in an evolving business landscape.
Change management is a very, very interesting concept. One thing is being stationary in the market space that is changing rapidly and quickly can have very serious repercussions for both organizations as well as professionals in the area of performance. It may cause loss of market share. It may even cause a substantial portion of your business as a professional. And it could result in decline in competitiveness. And ultimately, it can bring about what I call professional obsolescence. You want to agree with me to say that it is possible for a professional who does not anticipate change, a professional who does not plan for change, a professional who does not embrace change, and a professional who does not sharpen his skills in management of change to suddenly become professionally obsolete. So organizations and professionals can open themselves to a world of growth opportunities by simply doing what? By simply embracing change. So businesses and professionals should be committed to increasing customer happiness, increasing operational efficiency, and gain competitive edge by consistently innovating on their products, on their services, on their processes in accordance with the demands of that industry. Now, let me give you a case story to support this. We all know Netflix and Blockbuster, right? That's the once dominant video rental chain organization that failed to change with the times and suddenly became obsolete. Of course, Blockbuster, continue to prioritize what I call traditional renters. Whereas when Netflix came to explore and embrace the rise of online streaming. And as soon as anybody could know it, Netflix had changed its business strategy to one that provided a practical and affordable streaming service. You know what happened to Blockbuster thereafter? It was declared bankruptcy sometimes in 2010, and Netflix became a global leader in the streaming industry even up to today. So, as professionals, if you don't anticipate change, if you don't plan for change, if you don't embrace change, if you don't manage change, if you resist change, if you refuse to sharpen your change management skills, you may end up being in chain. And what that means is that would be a very cheap way of becoming the victim of change.
Wow. These are great words that you're actually dropping. And I also caught one that professionals can actually be professionally obsolete if they do not actually manage change very well. You are doing a good one here. I must quickly adjudge you, even though I also know that our audience will also be following and be having almost similar comments as I'm dropping one. Still on that change management, according to Charles Darwin,
Yes.
origin of species. So the species that survives is the one that is able to best to adapt and adjust to the changing environment in which it finds itself. Now, I just want to be specific now because we have actually talked about change management. But since today's topic is more concerned or more affecting professionals, so let us strike it on the head. How can professionals actually adapt to the evolving or the changing business landscape?
Well, professionals, if any other set of people would adapt, no other set of people than professionals. I mean, for those of us in practice, for instance, what we are experiencing. If you don't understand what change management is all about, it's very difficult for you to adapt, particularly in this end time that we are here in Nigeria. So the question you asked, how can professionals adapt to this evolving business landscape? Now, in the dynamic realm of business, adaptability is the currency for survival. Now, in today's rapidly changing landscape, the only constant factor is change itself. So, to navigate the ever-evolving terrain of commerce very, very successfully, individuals and entities must embrace adaptability as a core competency. Now, let's look at some of the strategies to thrive in the face of this constant change. So, for professionals, a major strategy for adaptation to this evolving business landscape is to maintain fraternity, with innovation and technology. Of course, this is the world of technology. You will agree with me that today, if there are people who are taking advantage of technology, but more accountants are taking this advantage more. Now, cultivating a culture of innovation is very, very essential for professionals that aim to thrive in a rapidly changing environment. And how does it begin? It begins by creating an environment that encourages and rewards creativity. You must be creative in thought. You cannot afford to be stagnant in your faculty. So when professionals feel empowered to think outside the box, when they share ideas, when they experiment without the fear of failure, of course, true innovation can thrive. One other thing they need to consider is collaboration. Collaboration across functional lines, across platforms, idea sharing, to share diverse perspectives and look at ways of sparking innovative solutions on the issue at hand. So technology plays a vital role in driving innovation and agility in business. Of course, today we're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about business process automation. We're talking about data analytics. These are emerging technologies that have the potential to actually transform organizations and entities in the middle of this evolving business landscape. So, if you look at what Google has done, it's visible to everybody. So, another way to adapt is by what I call agile methodologies for efficiency, for effectiveness, and adaptability. So, in today's very fast business environment, professionals must adapt towards improving on their efficiency in delivery of services to their customers. So if you have been efficient prior to now, you need to look at how you can be more efficient and effective. All right? How can you do this? Take a look at lean management principles, embrace lean techniques, that will help you to be able to at least look at areas where, for instance, your clients need not, experience leakages, where they need not experience, inefficiencies. It's your responsibility to identify all these areas and you draw their attention to it. All right. Another strategy is what I call a strategy of embracing flexibility. It's not just being open to change. It's all about actively seeking change. Businesses that thrive, they are those willing to pivot. They are those willing to have alternative strategies. They are those who are willing to embrace new ideas swiftly. So there is need to foster this culture of flexibility, so that we can blend that with change management. Now, another thing I want to mention is the need for continuous learning and investment in self. We need to learn on a daily basis more. We need to relearn. We need to unlearn. I mean, look at what ICANN is doing through this platform. ICANN is doing something wonderful. If there are some of our colleagues that ordinarily are finding it very difficult, the robust nature of the programs that ICANN is laying out on a regular basis is enough for anybody to attract more value as a professional. So there is need for continuous learning and investment in self. You need to subject yourself to training, retraining, get yourself exposed to, fresh acquisition of knowledge and skills that will prepare you for 21st century responsibility. So rigid structures normally hinder progress, and you can't afford to be rigid in your approach. You can't afford to be rigid in your methodology. So there is need for you to invest in yourself by acquiring more knowledge, acquiring more skills through regular trainings, workshops, seminars. Read books as much as possible to increase your value, and you can also enhance your earnings capacity.
Thank you very much for that loaded, I will say, they actually loaded steps that professional accountants can actually take to ensure they survive even in the face of evolving business landscape. I'm actually taking some quotable quotes from you. I must say, adaptability is the currency for survival. You mentioned, and that's I can't agree, but I can agree less with that fact. And now moving to this part of it, how have events such as COVID-19 pandemic, the emergence of artificial intelligence, as well as the Japa syndrome affected the needs of businesses? Can you tell us how these events have affected the needs of business, and how well has the accounting profession met these changing needs?
You see, that's why, thank you very much, Tosi, for that question. When you look at when the issue of artificial intelligence began to, spread out, a lot of people became frightened. I've had so many people say that artificial intelligence has come to take jobs from professionals. And you and I know that is far from truth. Artificial intelligence has come to stay. Artificial intelligence will do what ordinarily a person would do as a human being. The kind of decisions that a person will take, artificial intelligence will take those decisions. And the decision, the objectives that you are meant to achieve by those decisions you are taking as an individual, the same objectives will be achieved by embracing artificial intelligence. So it is only those who are mentally dormant, who are not prepared to be dynamic in thought, who are not prepared to remain resourceful by trying to re-engineer or recalibrate their faculty that will either be stagnant or be thrown into the backyard. Now, you mentioned the issue of Japa syndrome. It's well, people are talking about Japa syndrome. So what we are now talking about Japada, because when you look at it sincerely, it's out of maybe out of ignorance, or out of frustration, or out of lack of enough knowledge of what is happening in our environment. Just see, I must be very sincere with you. The Indians, the Lebanese, the Chinese, no matter how bad that Nigerian economy might be, I can tell you totally, quite frankly, that those people will never stop coming to Nigeria. Why? Because they are, is able to embrace more reforms across all sectors. We'll be able to address all of this. One thing that is functional, that is the attraction in all of these places that they jump to, is because they have a system that works and works effectively. And I want to assure you that because Nigeria has all these resources, it's a matter of time, it's a matter of patience. I can assure you, the day we have a system that works and works effectively in Nigeria becomes that nation that will be number one anywhere in the world. So it's one thing is, in the middle of crisis, in the middle of all this evolution of a business landscape, It's actually creating problems for those who cannot afford to sit down to think. All right? So they are looking at the problems produced by the evolution instead of looking at inherent opportunities in these challenges occasioned by evolution. So where there is crisis, opportunities abound in crisis. And as professionals, it is our responsibility to take a look at the challenges inherent in our business landscape occasioned by all of these evolutions, and we take advantage of the opportunities and then make the very best out of all of that. That's why you discover that you notice that during COVID came in as a health hazard, as a health pandemic, unknown to us that it was going to be a major fortune for quite a number of people. So it was during COVID that those who had eyes to see beyond ordinary, they saw opportunities provided by by COVID that ordinarily was like a pandemic, but provided opportunities that ended up becoming fortune to millions and millions of people, not only in Nigeria but across the globe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter, for your response so far. Like you did advise that professionals should see inherent opportunities occasioned by these evolutions, and that's a good one there. So that, like you advised, people who are jackpotting will not eventually jackpot. I think I did that again, and it's important for us. Let's quickly go on a commercial. Let's go and run some commercials for those who are partnering with us. We'll be back. Don't go away.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Canada District presents the 9th International Accountants Conference, themed Strategic Upscaling of Accounting Profession within the Dynamics of Technology. Date 16th to 20th July 2024. Time is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Venue, Best Western Premier Calgary Plaza Hotel and Conference Center, 1316 33 Street NE, Calgary, Alberta, T2A 6B6. Seasoned speakers like Sheyi Wolabi, a partner at MNP Calgary, will be speaking on review of the accounting profession and technology synergy. Derek Greer, the Chief Information and Security Officer, Protexa, will be speaking on disruptive technology and AI upscaling for accountants. Greg Howe, the CEO, Black All Systems Calgary, will be speaking on accountants in the era of diversified profession, while Professor Godwin Emmanuel Oyedokun will be speaking on decision-making optimization through data mining. The Canadian High Commissioner as well as the ICANN President will also be in attendance. This conference promises to be value for your time and money. Hurry! Register today by sending an email to Mr. Blessing Familusi, chairman at icancanada.net, or St. Badamosi at ican.org.ng, or I Adams at ican.org.ng, or simply visit our website www.icancanada.org. ICANN Canada Conference 2024. Be there.
Yes, it's still your program, ICANN on Air. And today with me in the studio, I have Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCA, who has been doing justice to the topic involving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. Let me quickly go and recognize our audience, those who have joined us, especially those who quickly join the program as early as possible. I have Pete Remy Zugo from Delta State. I have Adebayo Saka from Ibadan. I have Oladosu Taufik Babajide, all the way from Cardiff in UK. Oladosu is now a regular partaker in this program. Fagbola Temitope Adeni, all the way from Ibadan. Eunice Odiasi from Lagos. Rufus Ajayegbe from Lagos. And Wuma Hennes Chukunaro, another regular person live from Abuja. Nimota Modupe from Abuja also. Ekundayo Bolaji from Jos, Plateau State. We have Yusuf Abdulaziz from Ibadan. Awel Lawrence. Oluwole Adebesu from Lagos. IB John. Olatunde Olugbile. Jayola Marcus. Usman Muhammad. Olugboyega Theophilus, Daniel, and many more that have joined us on this program. Of course, as you know, the way we run, send your questions in, and our guest on the show, Mr. Peter Adebayo, will do justice to your question. So let's continue from where we stop. Like I said, we're still discussing the topic evolving business landscape, positioning for professional service delivery. Let's now go to some aspect of risk management. Mr. Peter, when discussing and analyzing risk, can change management be said? So let me not even go there yet. Let me start with this. In line with the saying that no risk, no reward, is there possible nexus between risk management and evolving business landscape? If yes, how does it operate? And if no, why do we not have that nexus?
Well, I would say in affirmative, certainly yes. There is a nexus. Now, risk is any form of threat. You know, just proud to why you are talking now. I mean, why that commercial was on. There was a power outbreak. I mean, power outage. And I've just given an instruction that the generator should be put on to mitigate the risk of discontinuity of this program. So, risk is any form of threat or danger on the way to achieving specific goal or objective. And generally speaking, a risk is any situation which involves exposure to danger or hazard, exposure to harm, exposure to any form of loss, threat, pitfall, peril, trouble, or even accident. Now, in the context of business, it is the possibility or probability that an intended goal to be attained under given circumstances, under given situations or conditions, will suffer a hitch, and the goal attainment may be truncated or not even achieved in line with the specified or stipulated parameters in the first instance. So, lack of adequate knowledge of risk management becomes a recipe for business failure. So, as earlier explained, the business landscape has platforms, diverse consumer needs, and of course, like I mentioned, technological advancement. So, the major factor in an evolving business landscape, please mark this, Tosi. The major risk factor in an evolving business landscape, all right, is the inability of a professional to anticipate change. So when you are unable to anticipate change, you are exposed to risk. When you are unable to plan for change, you are exposed to risk. You can see the nexus. When you are unable to embrace change, or when you are unable to manage change, automatically you are exposed to risk. So the major risk associated with change management is inability or apathy on the part of a professional not to recognize, not to anticipate, not to embrace, and not to manage risk.
Thank you very much. I can see that nexus and the way you have actually linked it, that the failure to think and see change management is actually a risk on it. So let's now dwell a bit on that risk part of it. When discussing and where we're analyzing risk, can change management be said to be associated with risk in any manner or form? We just mentioned that now. So let's now look in which particular area is change management linked with risk for professional accountants.
You see, like I mentioned, change management is closely associated with risk to the extent that as professionals, we can afford to demonstrate apathy towards welcoming and embracing that change. Now, it's when you look at the concept of risk management, like I mentioned, is the concept that positions you well enough to be able to imagine some of the things that will truncate the processes that will lead to achievement of your goal and objective at a point in time. So that's why for you to manage risk, for you to manage change successfully, your knowledge of risk management becomes very, very essential. Because you apply your knowledge of risk management to be able to find out, okay, fine, in this evolving business landscape, what are the likely threats that I'm going to be exposed to arising from this evolution of business landscape. And the moment you are able to identify those threats, you are on the verge of managing your risk, because there are processes that lead to risk management in the first instance. Of course, like people will tell you the first step in risk management is identification of risk. I don't agree, because I believe that for you to identify risk, you must first of all accept that there is prevalence of risk in every course of action. So the very first step in that in managing your risk is to first of all accept that there is risk element, identify the risk element, subject it to evaluation and analysis, and of course you can look for a way of mitigating. And that's why you see that, look, no matter what challenges are arising from all this evolution of business landscape, we need to be able to identify those challenges as professionals and ask ourselves, how do we address these challenges instead of lamenting on those challenges? I've come to mention to you, Tosin, sorry, lamentation on any problem or challenge that is a product of evolution of business landscape will never, any day, under any circumstance, constitute a solution to that problem situation. So what lamentation would do is to take that person from the level of headache to the level of migraine. So instead of lamenting, don't open the book of Lamentations, quote and unquote. Open the book of Revelation and ask yourself, how can I sit down conceptually? How can I sit down to think outside the box? To begin to imagine solutions, to begin to provide solutions that will be able to address objectively these challenges that are occasioned by evolution of business landscape. So that's how to relate risk with change management in a rapidly changing and evolving business landscape.
Thank you very much. Do not open the book of Lamentation, but open the book of Revelation. Peter Adebayo, 2024. I'm quoting you as the author of that statement. But we actually got the idea and the message we are actually passing across, that professionals should lament not at all, but go ahead and from there see the inherent opportunities in every problem, in every situation. Okay, so let me now go this way, since we have been talking about issues where professionals come to lament on problems. As a business leader and a knowledge coach of reputable standing, can you give us your unbiased assessment of the Nigerian business environment as at today? What's your own unbiased assessment of the Nigerian business environment?
Thank you very much for that good question. I mean, this is a very interesting question. And to be very sincere, quite frankly, we don't need any prophet to tell us that Nigeria is facing or contending with extremely difficult economic challenges, economic problems. Many of these problems can be attributed to poor governance structures, deficient structures, moribund structures over the past years. Of course, with commitment and readiness to embrace genuine change, the current Nigerian situation is definitely not beyond the redemption. So Nigeria has issues, but I want to believe that just like you said, without any bias, the current president has taken some very radical steps to undertake what we call reforms, much needed reforms. And I will also still expect more reforms, not restricted to certain aspects, but for it to be very holistic. I mean, Nigerian economy is bad. I mean, today, look at what the FX is saying. Look at the financial system. Look at our monetary policies. Look at our fiscal policies. All right? I mean, who could have imagined that Nigeria will get to a level where we'll be queuing enough to buy fuel at 568 or 605 or 610 because we consider it a cheaper option. These are things that have actually happened to Nigeria as a result of government deficiencies over the years. And when you also look at Nigeria, it's we have suddenly become dependent on importation. Unfortunately, we have not been privileged to have a government over the years that have taken it as priorities to make Nigeria a real sector-driven economy. Why are we facing most of these challenges? We are facing these challenges because we are not, so to speak, real sector-driven in terms of our economic affairs. right? So until we are risk sector driven, of course, for us to be risk sector driven, you know that look, risk sector is driven by infrastructures, which we believe that, the current government is also trying to address. So without any bias, Nigeria is facing challenges. I believe that the challenges that we are facing as Nigeria, as a nation, they are not challenges that are, beyond surmounting. They are not beyond redemption. But I think with more pragmatic, and constructive business architecture under a well-calibrated, dimension, I believe that we have what it takes to express a better Nigeria, over what we are facing. We don't have to be discouraged. We don't have to. We all have the obligation and responsibility as a united family, in this nation, to work together and see how we can make Nigeria a better place to live in. Of course, as professionals, we have our own roles to play, in driving economic development.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Now let's quickly go to the questions from the audience. Our audience are already asking questions. If you are here to drop your questions, please go ahead and drop your question, and I assure you we are going to take them, certainly, and the guest is here to answer. The first is from Fagola Temitope Adeniyi. So branding is a totality of products or services. How can a professional make his brand appealing to more clients than the others in quest for excellence in service delivery?
Thank you very much. Issue of branding is very, very fundamental. It is very germane, for professionals. There are different dimensions to branding. You can brand yourself, under different dimensions. Let me say this. The greatest branding that any professional can sell to his customer is the branding of excellent service delivery. What are you known for as a professional? The moment you are known for excellent service delivery, that becomes your brand. Branding should not be restricted to, what I'm wearing is ICANN brand. I mean, you can see ICANN here, you can see ICANN there. That's trying to protect. You can do that. Of course, we do that in my professional, in my practice. There are outfits that we use. We have to brand ourselves to create more image. Now, apart from that, you can also brand yourself with the power of social media. Social media is a very good brand marketing tool for professionals, right? And these things are there. They don't cost you any much. But beyond that, much more fundamental, I have the confidence to tell my client that my selling point is quality, efficient, effective, value-added professional services. I've had to tell a few clients, the day you don't get value anymore from my services, because that's my brand, before you fire me, draw my attention to it. But if you draw my attention to it once or twice, don't draw my attention to it a third time. Go ahead and type my what do we call it? Letter of disengagement. And just say, Peter Adebayo and Co-Chartered Accountants, sorry, on account of deficiency in your professional branding through service delivery, we are no more comfortable with your services. So the greatest branding you can give of yourself as professionals is that branding of excellent, qualitative, efficient, effective, timely professional service delivery. And when you are known for that, I can tell you, referrals will always come, even without you having to go to the basis of newspaper to advertise. So that's one fundamental thing, that has been working for some of us, and I'm speaking from experience.
Okay, thank you very much. Our time is now running. We need to move quickly. The second question from one of the audience is here. In one of the classics of the father of companies, Jim Collins, in his book titled How the Mighty Fall, how can the hubris factor be dealt with? That is, that laxity of seeing it all. Hence, one can't fall in this fifth industrial evolution.
Well, I want to respond by saying, no matter the level of attainment, there's nobody who cannot fall. As a matter of fact, research has shown that it is evident that managing success is extremely difficult than managing failure. Now, by the time you are going to manage failure, failure stems from establishing the root cause of failure. You just go into root cause analysis. Go and establish the root cause of this failure, all right? And find out what you did wrong that you ought to have done right, or what you did right that you should have done, better. So it's easier for you to find out reasons why you have failed. But success at the highest level, as a matter of fact, the best time to pay attention to management is when you are succeeding. And that's why you see that giants are falling, the mighty are falling. So when you get to that level, it becomes very important for you to sit down and ask yourself, what must I do to maintain this level of success, to maintain this height of success? At least if you cannot go beyond that level, you must do what is possible or what is within you, not to crash. So begin to imagine how you can sustain your success by the time success is eventually attained. Otherwise, there's a tendency for you to get complacent. So a lot of people get complacent, and before they could call Jack Robinson, there's a decline in the height of success they have attained. And one of the things that I normally advocate for, as a way of sustaining success in business practice as professionals, is to begin to think of a succession planning from day one. All right, succession planning as professionals, so that even you get to a particular level, you can't be energetic forever, you can't be agile forever. So you get to a particular stage in life when law of diminishing returns begins to set in, and at that point in time, you are grooming people who are going to take over from you, so that the same level of success you have attained, those who are taking over will be able to maintain it, to be able to sustain it, and if possible, take it beyond the generation of the first owner. So these are issues that I have to consider. I must let you know that, look, no matter how the level of attainment you have achieved, there is a tendency that if care is not taken, if somebody is careless, if somebody is complacent, imminent fall is going to be as easy as a pack of cards.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. And now we need to quickly move because we have just a few more minutes on the show. Sir, assuming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, calls you today to briefly speak to his Federal Executive Council members on practical steps that would further equip and position Nigerian professionals for effective service delivery. Kindly tell us and our global viewers some of the points that would be on your presentation slides.
Thank you very much. Quickly, professionals cut across all sectors, and there are various settings that guide the operations of every profession, which professionals are expected ordinarily to use as their guiding philosophy. So I will advise Mr. President, if he invites me like you have said, all right, and I find myself in the House of Parliament, I will advise accommodation of more professionals in governance under an atmosphere devoid of negative interference along the line of discharging their professional duties in the service of their fatherland. If you give professionals the opportunity to operate as full-fledged professionals without negative interference, I believe they will deliver. All right. Now, however, if I had the opportunity of also advising on the state of the economy, I will advocate for more effective actions, in these ongoing reforms, which I believe should cut across every aspect of national life as an entity called Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, a major aspect of that reform, which is ongoing, is fiscal and monetary policy framework. Other aspects will include recalibration of our budgeting and budgetary control system. And we are doing that with a view to drastically reducing our revenue expenditure profile in favor of CapEx, so that we can drive more of infrastructural development. So much more fundamentally is the need to also address critical issues that can make Nigeria a real sector-driven, like I mentioned, real sector-driven economy with less dependence on importation to meet our domestic consumption. So these are some of the issues I will be bringing to the table if I have the opportunity of addressing the president. And of course, the issue of policy. Policy is also very fundamental, but I think getting more, embracing a skill whereby we can have a more effective policy implementation framework. We also address some of the issues that we have in Nigeria, because over the years, it's not as if we have not really had policies. We've had policies, but those policies have been badly managed. So I also want to advise that will put people who will be able to implement and implement the policy of government in such a manner that those policies will be able to achieve the designated objectives against which those policies have been formulated in the first instance. Otherwise, policies can be good but badly implemented. That would not achieve the objective.
Thank you very much. Allowing professionals in government under an atmosphere devoid of negative interference. Well done. In closing, ICANN is always open to ideas, Mr. Adebayo, that would positively advance the growth of our members, the accountancy profession, and the global business environment. What is your suggestion to ICANN on filling knowledge gaps that will further position our members for efficient and effective service delivery in today's evolving business landscape? In 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Quite frankly, I think our institute, ICANN, is doing a very fantastic work in this direction, particularly with the numerous programs being organized and executed to equip our members. However, our members must always be ready to support the efforts of the institute by keying into all these programs where professionals can always learn something new, where they can relearn and unlearn. This is absolutely very essential to avoid the situation where we are going to become professionally obsolete, like I mentioned. So ICANN is doing well enough, but I think it is easier to take a horse to the brook, but you cannot force a horse to drink water. So to complement the efforts of our great institute, I will advise professionals, particularly chartered accountants, across the space, to key into all these laudable programs being packaged and put together by our very noble and great institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, under the leadership of the President and the Council members.
Thank you very much for your advice for members to key into those programs, lofty programs that have been put together by the Governing Council of the Institute. We want to say very big thank you to the managing partner of Peter Adebayo and Co. Chartered Accountant, in person of Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCA, for coming on the show today and for sharing your wealth of experience with our members and friends of the Institute. On behalf of the producers of this program and editorial team and our viewers across the globe, we appreciate your time and effort. And we hope that when next we call on you, you hearken onto our call. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Tosin. Please permit me to end up with this quote from John F. Kennedy.
Go ahead.
He says, "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss their future." Thank you very much, and God bless you until I see you again the next time. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Those quotes I would never forget. They are very relevant, especially in today's topic. Quick one, let me take the announcement we have on the show for you today. ICANN on Air is open for advert placement. And like we have been saying, the rates are affordable. Please come closer to us, join us together. The numbers on the flyer, go ahead and call Omobukola Oluwatosin. Can even reach out to the anchors if you want to partner with us on this program through advert placement. Reach out to us today. Our rates are affordable. Let us discuss and take your product and wares to a greater height. Also, the ICT conference topic, digital economy, navigating the new frontiers. The mode of the program is virtual, coming up April 29th, 2024. The time is 10 a.m. and the fee is 10,000 naira only. The MCPD credit hours are allowable is 7.5. Go and register today. Also, the ICANN annual dinner and awards program is here. All work and no play make Jack a dull boy. Date 4th May 2024. Venue Monarch Event Center at Ikate Lekki Epe Expressway. The dinner ticket single is 30,000 naira. Couple is 50,000 naira. Table for 10 is 400,000 naira. The dress code is strictly full English or native attire. It attracts 3 MCPD credit hours. Go ahead and obtain your ticket today. Also, application for fellowship conferment ends April 29th. We have 4 more days to end that application. And the date for the fellowship conferment is Saturday, May 18th, 2024. Venue, Harbour Point Event Center at Wilmot Road, off Amadu Bello Way, VI, Lagos. The time is 11 a.m. and the fee is 175,000 naira. For those who want to go ahead and register, please go ahead. For those who are qualified, go ahead and register today. And lastly, The 73rd induction, associate induction ceremony comes up on May 20th to 21st, 2024. The induction fee is 130,000 naira and the registration closes by May 10. So quickly go ahead and register. And that is the show today, our professional colleagues and our global viewers. You would agree with me that today's program is worth the while. Very educating and instructive. Until I come your way again with another guest, another topical issue, I will tell you please stay safe and stay sound. On behalf of the editorial team and the producers, I remain Tosin Akinwumi FCA, saying thank you for watching and bye for now.